Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Hello.
Where's all this energy coming from? We weren't like this 2 minutes ago.
You got to be on.
We're on. And we have 44 shows that we've tallied for you these last 2 weeks.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say that we had 44 shows to talk about. I was going to say, what?
We actually
Where
do.
have I been?
We probably do. We just can't talk about them all today. Oh. Out of which 24 were written or co-written by a woman, 54%.
Excellent.
And 18 directed by a woman, 41%.
Very good.
Not bad.
And several of those were double headers, as we like to call them. Twofers. Both women and writing and directing, which is always a thrill.
It is. And today we have a giveaway that we're so excited about. Because
it looks
like
so good. Oh my God, and what a great cast.
Yes, so we're talking about the new movie Georgetown, which is available on digital right now. It's starring, let me start there, Vanessa Redgrave, Annette Bening, and Christoph Waltz. No, he's good.
He's very good. He also plays a slime ball, though.
He also directed the movie. And it's based on true events, and it's one of those who's gonna con who kind of a movies. Christoph Waltz is a smooth-talking social climber. He marries the much older, very wealthy, well-connected Vanessa Redgrave, and then she turns up dead. And her daughter, Annette Bening,
she smelled something rotten in Denmark, or actually he's from Germany.
But there's a lot more than meets the eye, I think, on both sides.
Oh, definitely. And she was in the trailer a lot, so I don't think she gets killed really that early.
Or there are flashbacks, or I don't know. Yeah. But no, there's plenty of Vanessa. I was worried, too, that there was going to be a small role, but no.
And she's full of piss and vinegar. You can tell. Oh, it looks so much fun.
It looks delicious. I can't wait. We have 4 digital screeners to give away. To the first 4 who send us a message on Instagram or email us at ladypartstv@gmail.com and tell us you want it and you get it. The first 4. Otherwise,
be fast.
If you're not one of the 4, and I assure you that this movie is going to go fast. If you're not one of the first 4, then we do urge you to check it out on digital. Stream it. It looks fabulous.
It really does.
So this is Georgetown. Email us or send us a message right now if you want to get your free copy.
Put us on hold, though.
Yes. Now, we have 2 comedies and 2 documentaries. There's going to be 2 very different feels. So we'll start with the comedies.
Okay.
And this is going to be Mimi's turf.
Now, I am not a comedy fan.
Neither of us.
I really am not. But I have to say that both of the shows that I'm talking about today, I'm extremely enthusiastic about, and especially this one called Hacks. It's on Thursdays on HBO Max. It was created by Lucia Aniello, Jen Statsky, and Paul W. Downs. Don't know any of them, but so what? They've done a great job. It stars Jean Smart and Hannah Einbinder, who I've never heard of, but who is very excellent. It's Jean Smart plays a famous comedian who is having one of the longest residencies at a hotel ever.
In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, yes. And she takes this sort of outsider millennial under her wing. And in her beak.
Not entirely by choice.
No, it's a very interesting dynamic, and this is a part that Jean Smart was born to play. She is fantastic. And I hope she gets an Emmy for this. I really do. I just adore her. I saw Jean Smart's very first thing.
Oh, show off.
I did. I saw her in last summer at Bluefish Cove off Broadway.
A lesbian
play many, many, many years ago. It was a sensation. And that was how she arrived on the map. And
recently she is her career is getting bigger and bigger.
Her career
I'm so
has
happy.
been very good, designing women. It's been, but this is really going to be fun. If you like stand-up,
the new episodes.
If you're interested in the dynamics of women.
This is on HBO Max, and new episodes happen every Thursday. So the first Thursday last week, we had 2 new episodes, and now it's a new one every week.
They're going to make us wait. And of course, she plays a character about to age out of the spotlight, and that always gives it an
and the
extra
generational
push.
divide with how they see the world, how they see comedy. It's irreverent, of course.
Oh,
it's just
a lot
so
of
great.
swearing.
but it's sometimes they do swearing for the purpose of swearing on these
this is just
networks.
These women.
This is
especially Jean.
This is right, and it's funny, smart swearing, not just dropping.
Really
for the
good
sake
writing.
Yeah, and acting, of course.
Yes, of course.
So this is called Hacks.
Hacks.
It's on HBO Max Thursdays, and we highly recommend it.
Okay, and the second one is you could have knocked me over with a feather. I can't believe this is a show.
Just so you know, if you ever want to knock Mimi over with a feather, just mention the word Sarah Bareilles. That's all it takes.
Absolutely, Sarah Bareilles is to me a queen of song. I just think she is one of the most talented songwriters, and as it turns out, Broadway composers alive. And thank God she's getting her due these days. But who really knew she could act as
and
well?
Be funny.
I know she did Waitress, but
comedy is not easy, as we know.
No, it isn't. Anyway, it's called Girls5eva. And
let me just explain that.
Yeah.
It's Girls, GIRLS, 5, the number 5, Eva, EVA. And it's all one word, and it's basically a riff on Girls Forever, but it's Girls5eva.
Because there were 5 of them, although there's only 4.
When you see the first episode, they explain why it is.
Yeah. It also stars the magnificent Renee Elise Goldsberry, Paula Pell, who is a very well-known, was a writer for Saturday Night Live for years, and also acts.
Who plays a lesbian on the show.
Yes, exactly. And Busy Phillips, who is... It's just a perfect role for her, and they're getting the band back together. They were a big hit in the they weren't. They were a one-hit wonder in the 90s
when girl bands were a thing, like Spice Girls. But I just want to say, because when we were talking about it, you said something about, was it the 70s? And I said no, it was the 90s. And for me, when I think about 30 years ago, I always think 70s, but actually 30 years ago is the 90s. Can you believe that?
No,
oh my God.
I can't believe it. Anyway, later on there's going to be guest stars like Vanessa Williams and Andrew Reynolds, Tina Fey, many more.
I just want to say it's created by Meredith Scardina,
oh, yes.
and all 8 episodes are on Peacock now, which is a streaming service. All episodes are available.
And if you have Xfinity, Peacock
it comes with
comes for free.
Yeah. We love Xfinity.
These are a bunch of older girls trying to achieve their former glory, and it is really fun. It's another show that it was written very, very funny, and these women are fabulous. Sarah is so funny. I mean, I'm just so thrilled that Renee Elise can do anything.
Well, what I found interesting about this show is that it can be so over the top at times, and then it can be so subtle at other times that we laughed out loud. Now, we don't laugh out loud for silly things. We laugh out loud when somebody does something really brilliant, which is very subtle. And there were moments on that show that if you blink, you miss it. It's so genius. It's a very, very, very original show.
And I did a few laughing a beat or two after the...
Takes you to process.
Because what happens to me sometimes is I'll listen to something and everybody will laugh, and then I'll reprocess the joke in my head, and I'll laugh by myself.
Yes, in the theater, you always hear everybody laugh, and then quiet, and then Mimi laughs.
Not always. I sometimes laugh along with the group, but when it's really clever, good writing, I relive it again, and I just have to laugh again. And I think I did that a couple of times with this.
It was really laugh out loud, and I did not expect it. And the girls are fabulous.
We would not have watched it without
the cast,
without it being Sarah, and I might have watched it for Renee.
Yeah.
Because I do adore her, and she is an ex-soap actress.
And a Broadway person.
Well, so she's she's a Tony winner.
Exactly. So as far as we're concerned, our Broadway people are family.
But, wow, fun. Don't expect it to be Seinfeld. Just enjoy it.
Exactly. Girls5eva is on Peacock, all 8 episodes. Check it out and have some laughs. Because we gave you the 2 things to laugh about now, and now we're going to go a little to the other side of the spectrum. Very, very important documentaries that are coming out today. Well, for you, it will already be yesterday, that we want to tell you about. The first documentary is called Final Account, directed by Luke Holland, and it's in theaters today. I can't imagine that it's not also streaming somewhere.
We have to assume it's
check
going to
it
be
out.
Streaming.
Yeah, it's called Final Account, and I want to read to you what the movie is about, because I think it's very well. I think that the people who wrote it very much captured what the film is about. An urgent portrait of the last living generation of everyday people to participate in Adolf Hitler's Third Reich, the film raises vital, timely questions about authority, conformity, complicity and perpetration, national identity and responsibility, as men and women ranging from former SS members to civilians in never-before-seen interviews reckon with, in very different ways, their memories, perceptions, and personal appraisals of their own roles in the greatest human crimes in history. So the movie, and I love the title, Final Account,
fabulous.
Which both speaks to the final solution. And of course, this is much like Holocaust survivors are unfortunately disappearing from the world. This is probably some of these people the last time they've had a chance to talk, maybe even the first time too. They've had to talk and give their account of the affairs, but also be held in account for what they've done. Honestly, whenever somebody manages to do a documentary and get people like these to talk honestly about things, I'm astounded.
Amazed. Me too.
That they would be willing to do it, that they would be willing to be faced with it, that they would be willing to go public.
Admit it.
And this is why I'm saying that maybe for some of these people it's the first time that they've talked about it, because some of them know that they're about to die, and this will be the only chance that they'll ever get to
their soul.
Yeah, to stand face to face with, kind of like with before justice, before their time to stand in front of whoever it is they believe they'll have to give account to and just be held accountable for. This is very, very important, and for me, it was also.
And it was fascinating.
It was fascinating. It was done very well because it was actually done very low key, because all the power was in the faces of these people and what they said. You didn't need any fire, pyrotechnics or any spectacles. The only thing that to me the movie did very well visually was to juxtapose these beautiful vistas, all these places in Germany and surrounding areas, with the stories of what you knew and what was perpetrated on those beautiful lands.
Concentration camps, even villages, all of them quite interestingly spotless. Spotless, like there's no life in this country.
Except it's all very lush and green, probably because of all the fertilizer. But to me, it was also what was amazing was I'm used to hearing endless accounts of Holocaust survivors, and all of a sudden to hear the other side speak. And their accounts ranged from people who really felt bad and tried to do something to sort of, assuage their conscience a little bit, to people who are still express loyalty to Hitler or deny it completely because their brain can't process it. And so it was very fascinating. And what I loved was that the filmmaker, who is Jewish, truly pushed them, asked them, didn't let them get away with it.
In a rather gentle way.
In a gentle way. Mm-hmm. But what we really loved, the scenes that really kind of shook us, were the scenes where there was more than one person, and to see them talk in a group and hold each other accountable. There was at least one person in the group who held everybody else accountable, who didn't let them get away with it, and made them face the truth.
There's an especially moving and amazing, powerful one of women in an old folks home, right? And there's one very strong woman who said, no, 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 no.
Yeah, we'll let you watch it for the full effect, but it was just excellent, very important. I can't recommend it more highly.
And such an interesting point of view. It's just not something you see.
Exactly. It's nothing certainly that I've seen. It's called Final Account. It is available. Seek it out and watch it. Finally, we have a new docuseries to tell you about. Also, all 5 episodes are available as of today, so for you, yesterday, on Apple TV Plus. And it's called The Me You Can't See. And first of all, the series, when I tell you who made it, already is worth your time. Oprah Winfrey and Prince, formerly known as Prince. Sorry.
Right. The artist, the human being formerly known as Prince.
The fabulous human being formerly known as Prince Harry, now just Harry.
What's Harry's last name?
Windsor?
Merkel?
No.
Markle,
sorry. I'm still in Germany.
Yeah, I
know. Teamed up, and actually, if you've seen the interview that Oprah had with the both of them, with Meghan and Harry, then you heard already there that that they were starting a production company, that they wanted to do more, and of course, you heard
some of Harry's story.
You heard some of Harry's story, but you especially heard Meghan's story and her story of mental health struggles, which I thought was extremely brave and important. And I didn't know that they were going to continue on this path of tackling this subject and raising awareness. And I'm so grateful for them and to them. And Oprah, who truly, what a gift to humanity this woman is. Everything she's done her whole life has been dedicated to helping raise awareness about issues that are important, helping break silences and shame and walls and divisions, and just make people feel less alone. I think she's phenomenal, and they made this documentary series, both talking about their own issues with mental health, but helping to start a conversation, talk to other people, both celebrities and complete unknowns from all walks of life, from many places around the globe, about matters of mental health. And they are talking about really a wide range of what mental health means, from people who suffered abuse and trauma to other people who actually have biochemical, genetically predisposed problems with mental health, such as OCD, anxiety, depression, self-harm. Also, people who experienced, traumas like being refugees. Many, really, just touching on the various aspects of mental health and how it affects everybody in many different ways, to some, to greater or lesser severities.
The subjects are so generous with their very personal stories. They really share them. They let them be photographed, experiencing certain things.
Well, but I also want to say about that, because, oftentimes there's a problem with that. So, for example, there was one time when they were doing a show in Israel about eating disorders, and they wanted me to come and talk, but they wanted me to bring pictures, and they wanted me to talk about my weight. And I said, well, I don't do that, because that's not what it's about, and we don't want to trigger people, and it's not a competition on being sensationalistic, and they went with somebody else. But sometimes people use that as a way to sensation. Like the show Hoarders. I mean, really, there's an exploitation and an attempt to, for dramatic effect to show these things
in their worst possible light.
Well, and not out of empathy and an attempt to shed light on any truth, but in an attempt to get rating.
Exploitation.
Yes, and this did not do that. On the other hand, it did show in a very exposing way, some of what it means to have schizophrenia or OCD or
extreme OCD.
And actually, I was a little surprised that there was no trigger warning at the beginning of the show, because I feel that there should have been. So let this be your trigger warning. Some of these things can be hard to watch if you're in a delicate state. But I felt that they didn't sensationalize, but at the same time they did convey the severity. I don't know. You tell me. What did you feel when you watched that woman with severe OCD?
I felt like I had ants crawling on me.
But what did you feel about her experience? What did you feel about her?
I felt very sorry for her. I felt that to have to deal with this on a daily, hourly basis, minute by minute, the things she has to face and fight just to get through the day, let alone be an Olympic boxer, which I think probably helped her. But I just can't even imagine living that way for a day, let alone
it made you
for
feel
a lifetime.
Sympathy for her struggle, as opposed to feeling, this otherness and this weird
I didn't feel that at all.
Good.
I felt
so extreme
empathy for her. And also I had admiration for her that she managed to still have some sort of a life with the demands this disease made on her.
And that's the other thing, is that you do see these people talk and do their thing and box or do, Lady Gaga, for example, who was there and talked about self-harm and talked about, for 2.5 years she was in a very dark place, and they asked her, well, what did you do in that time? She said, I won an Oscar. Nobody knew, So I think it really helps to kind of not to belittle it, but kind of normalize it and show that anybody could have it, and that they when you talk to them, they sound perfectly normal. Then they win awards. They go to the Olympics. They they live a life.
I think what also I was made most aware of is how many people there must be in this world who suffer from some form of emotional and mental distress. And many of them just carry on, but sometimes they don't. But the sheer volume of people that I think have some kind of mental problem.
Well, it's a spectrum. We always talk about these things as a spectrum. Is when does it become a disorder? When people start suffering and it interferes with their daily life. But certainly, and I think it's especially important after the year we've had, because I think that many people, first of all, people who've already suffered from problems with mental health, it's gotten worse. And people who didn't, all of a sudden were faced with a lot of things that they're not used to, isolation and intense fear and anxieties and uncertainties and division. I mean, we've had a terrible year in many ways, not just a pandemic. So
it made me feel that like 98 out of 100 people, if you spoke to them, you would find out that they were somewhere on the spectrum of mental disease or emotional distress.
Let's not say mental disease, but I think, so again, it's a spectrum. So, if somebody feels blue for a few days, that's not a mental disorder. No. If they feel, persistently depressed to the point where it interferes with their life and it lasts for a long time, then, there's
exactly.
It is a spectrum. But I think that also a lot of people experience very tough things. And it affects us all. And it was very, very moving to hear Prince Harry talk about the trauma from his mother's death, from the reaction that the family around him had to the events, what was required of him to do, that he couldn't really process anything because of who he was and the eyes of the world that were on him and the way his family operates. So
there was just one little thing that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
There was one little thing that really I found interesting, and it was he said that his father said, that Charles said to both William and Harry, I had to go through it, and you're going to have to go through it. And Harry said, why? Why do we have to go through it?
Well, and this is exactly what he talks about. And this is not really spoilers. 'Cause
No,
it's not. What he talks about, and I think that he makes that point very early on and very, very beautifully, that when trauma isn't processed and transformed, it's then transmitted. Because what happens is, if you go through trauma, or if you have, a struggle, and you don't treat it to the point where you can transform it and not have it as this wound that just keeps getting, more infected.
A tumor that keeps growing. And
then you almost inevitably will then start transmitting it to other people, because it will affect your behavior, it will affect how you treat others. And so especially between generations, a parent, so many parents end up doing to their children what was done to them, even though they suffered and they didn't want, they knew that they were suffering, but they couldn't help themselves, and they continued the cycle. So,
and this is also, they are a very special case. They are
right.
The royal family, and there are certain things expected of them, and certain ways the family operates and the system operates.
That's
and
right.
Charles
but Harry broke the cycle.
Was saying, if this is the way it is, and it's going to happen to you. And Harry said, no.
He's breaking the cycle, and I'm really grateful that Meghan came into his life and helped him break that cycle.
Yes, he said he didn't think he would have had the courage to do it without her.
Well, especially because not only I think that she gave him the courage, but also
he was save her.
He was faced with, in a way, he had to relive his trauma, and so it forced him to stop and process it and deal with it, because he couldn't when he was a child with his mother, and so this time he had the chance and the opportunity.
He saw this
to
is
do
what
something.
happened with my mother, and it's happening again. I can't let it.
I'm so happy we have that couple out of the institution, free to do so many more important things that they could have done as part of the institution. I'm so happy to have them here in our country,
among us,
doing wonderful things. And this is a wonderful first step. So thank you to Oprah and Harry for doing this.
And to everybody else who participated.
Yeah.
They were very courageous.
Very, very open, very honest. So this is called The Me You Can't See. All 5 episodes are available on Apple TV Plus, which is a wonderful streaming service, by the way.
It really is.
And we highly recommend it. We're just giving you a little bit of a trigger warning. And do let us know what you thought of all these things. ladypartstv@gmail.com as always. And let us know if you want your free copy of Georgetown, which, let me tell you, you want.
You want. I want to watch it right now.
Yes, we probably will soon, very soon. Thank you for joining us for another podcast of Lady Parts TV, and we will talk to you again next week.
And have a wonderful week.
Bye.